You need to be able to see a process where there's follow-up, there's direct specific path, direct CTA, opt-in, VSL probably, booking a call. Like all these little things need to be aligned in one single file line to be able to function correctly. As long as like you have 80, 90%, making sure everything's tight, you should be good as a closer.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the pod. Now, today I have a special guest. He actually had a pretty cool incident of actually getting over here. So he went through some stuff, which I'll let him talk about. But really a good entrepreneur that's been in the digital space for quite some time. I wanted to have him on. He's a good buddy of mine. Been able to not only scale his businesses through paid ads and organic strategies on Instagram and on social media, but is now doing some really interesting stuff, not only in the sales space, but also tying in AI with it to train his sales teams, which is really, really cool. So we're going to dive into it. So welcome to the show, my friend, Josue. How's it going?
Appreciate it, bro. It's always an honor to get invited to stuff like this. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I know you really meant it that you wanted to, actually get here on time.
Yeah.
This guy got pulled over on the way.
Yeah, I got pulled over, and let's just say the cop, it wasn't too happy because I started filming. He's like, "Are you filming? I have it right here too. You want this?" I'm like, "No, I'm like going to a meeting." And then it was a whole thing that they didn't like too much. But I just, got off with a warning, and that's it, because I really drive safely. So
there we go. Safe driver, clean record.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. No.
Actually, I've gotten stopped by cops twice in my life. Here, this time around.
Okay.
And then one time in Indiana, like randomly. That's it.
Really?
That's it. I don't get stopped ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Back in my hometown, it's known for cops. Like, it's just outside of LA. So all the cops that do LAPD and all this stuff live there. So there were so many cops. There's basically like a swarm all over this town called Simi Valley. And I've gotten pulled over like 5 or 6 times for the dumbest things, like pulling out of a parking spot, not having my seatbelt clicked on. Like, they were a bit over the top. So I'm glad that you've had not that kind of experience with cops and stuff. Cops are great. Shout out cops. But with that said, anyways, Josue, dude, you've been in this space for a very long time. Tell people about kind of your journey and what really prompted you to get into digital and embrace it. Because there's that big hurdle that sometimes people are scared of. They're not sure what to do, and they don't know what the other side looks like until they see kind of our stories and your brand and my brand blow up. So what did it feel like when you first got started? What made you make that move?
So for me, it was different than most people, because most people are like, I want freedom, I want to make money or whatever. For me, it wasn't like that. For me, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I'm an immigrant. Came to the United States in December 2013, my bad. And what I wanted to do was just be a professional soccer player. That's it.
Okay.
So I started social media with the dream to become a professional soccer player. And because DR is known for baseball, not soccer, I'm like, I'm going to use social media to use that as leverage to get a pro contract.
Interesting. Okay.
So fast forward to 2016, it actually worked, but I got injured, and I wasn't able to go to the trials and all this other stuff. So I dedicated my time to social media, like learning more, growing more, etc.
Okay.
And the first paying client was September 13th, 2016. It was Tim. I remember it to this day. And he asked me, "Hey, how much you charge me for consulting to show me how to grow because at the time I had 10 pages with 100,000 followers, 500,000 followers.
Oh, okay. So you're doing like the niche pages.
Yeah, niche pages. Yeah, okay. Paid pages. Okay. And he's like, "Okay, like teach me how to do this." I'm like, "How much are you going to charge me?" I'm like, $3,500. I'm like, it's like just blurted out. And then he's like, "Done." I'm like, that was the most amount of money I've ever made in my life at any single, mind you, that's 10 months worth of work back in DR of me being an engineer.
Really?
Graduating from college. Yeah, I was making like $350 a month as an electrical engineer graduating from college. So that was 10 months of salary of not spending a dime in one go.
Wow. And it was consulting. So it wasn't even done for you.
Correct.
It was just the information.
Correct.
Wow.
Exactly. Wow. It was like 1 call a week or 2 calls a week or something like that. And that was like my first kind of like aha moment, like, oh crap, like I have something valuable here. And then obviously years, ups and downs. And 2018, when I actually met Los,
okay.
I met him because Alex Becker was one of my clients. He gave me a big shout out, like testimonial, because he made like $45,000 in a weekend. Grew his following, blew it up, and he was super happy. And then he gave me a video testimonial and posted it on Facebook. And then everybody just hit me up from there, including Los. And then Los came in. I helped him as well on Instagram and made him a lot of money too. And then that's how I met him. So 2018 was the first year I made $1 million.
2020.
2018.
Oh, 2018. Okay.
2018. A year later, I was working as a cashier in a gas station here in Miami.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Just blow up and bust out, or what
Yeah,
happened?
blow up, bust out, dumb investments. Didn't focus on what I was actually good at. Tried to be a serial entrepreneur. Tried to be Robert Miller with a bunch of stuff. It wasn't smart enough. But that's what happened, and it wasn't the right time. Maybe like the decisions were right, but the timing wasn't correct, and I just lost a lot of money.
So what were the kind of investments? Because I've had plenty of things that have like failed along the way and all that. I think every entrepreneur that makes it one way test the other things, test the waters. But like, was real estate? Was it stores? Like what did you build?
So I started trying to build an e-com store, even though I had a very successful, profitable business, which I shouldn't have. Or I should have just focused and doubled down on that. Then I got a stupid office for $7,000 a month. And then just getting the office, it was like 30 grand just to remodel the damn thing. Then I also started building other influencer brands. Each of them cost me like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I flew all the influencers to ClickFunnels event in 2019, beginning of 2019. That cost me like 50 G's, and like with the hotels and like you ticket, all the things. So it was like stuff like that I was trying to ball out. And obviously the partying and the Lambos and the whatever and the yachts. So it was like the combination of everything. And then one business deal that went south that put me really, really negatively in the red. I'm not gonna say who it is. It's a big influencer. But I made he paid me 25 G's, made him a lot of money, like $370,000. He's like, okay, let's keep working, but now I want to give you profit share. And then I was going to manage all the ad spend, which Instagram shout outs and all these other things. It was going to be a $1.2 million contract for the year. The biggest contract I've signed in a year in my life. Is like $100,000 a month for 12 months. So 1.2 million.
Wow. Okay.
And then what ended up happening, the person who brought the deal in learned all my IP because it was just on a handshake. And then that person took the client, took my IP, took everything, then bashed my name. And then I had all the infrastructure built already with supposedly money that was coming in. I hired a bunch of people to do this deal.
Yeah.
And part of that was the office. And part of that was all the other stuff. And then it just went, dude, that year that was, when was that? Like May 2019, I think it was. The next 3 months, I probably lost like $100,000 to $200,000 each month. So, and then like, I just lost everything and then in September 2019, I was working as a cashier in a gas station here in Miami. There was also like some stuff around, like my papers, like immigration and stuff that I had to do. But it was a combination of just everything going south.
Wow.
So it was tough, bro. It was a lot.
Yeah, that's first off, thanks for sharing. But that is a crazy turn of events, going from the $1 million entrepreneur, blah 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 blah, going back down to that. So how did you? I mean, COVID just hit after that as well. So
I was as a cashier putting gas on 5. When you were 10 on 5, I was putting gas as a cashier. Actually, Los went to the gas station.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really.
He went there, and he didn't even know. He didn't even know because I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And what happened was 2020 came around, July 2020, I remember, and I had a couple friends that moved into Porsche Design Tower.
Yep.
Right. And then they had 3 bedrooms. There were 2 of them. They had 3 bedrooms. I had an extra bedroom. I was living probably in a space just tiny, like probably like the size of the little bathroom, like twice the little bathroom. That's where I was living. Like I had a bed, a little tiny desk, and that's where I was living. So they said, like, listen, like, why don't you move in? Rent is going to be $5,000 a month, but you're going to have an environment where you can excel. It's Porsche Design Tower. It's like freaking car parks in your living room in the 30th floor.
It's insane.
Yeah. And like you have a billionaire for neighbor, Maluma, Anuel, like, so it's insane environment. And then I'm like, I had $15,000 saved up from the cashier job that year. I'm like, okay, I have 2 months and a half worth of living because living expenses, food, etc. If I don't make it, fuck it. Like, it doesn't matter. If I do make it, great. But at least I have 2 months to breathe, enjoy Porsche Design Tower. And then that's what I did. Moved out of the place that I was at, July 2020. August 2020 was the first month that I lived in Porsche Design Tower. That month I did $89,000. So
wow.
It was, what changed a lot was the environment, obviously, that I was in. So
yeah,
and this goes to show, it's like, you can't surround yourself with people who are naysayers. Like your environment matters so much that for me, it was life-changing. It was like, I'm making $3,000 a month on the cashier to making $89,000 in a single month. Just by changing my environment and focusing on what I was good at, which is sales and Instagram, it just blew up. So that's what I did.
That is so awesome, man. Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick, because that was a gut check to you, because you already went through it one time.
Yeah.
That second time, you're probably just like, dude, I have nothing to lose. Going back to zero, I already know what that's like.
$50,000 is not a lot.
Right. And so, man, so going into that environment, what would you say just catapulted you? I mean, there's a mindset shift there. There's people, but was it the accountability that held you accountable, or the thing there? Or was it just the view? Because the view is beautiful.
Yeah.
What was it for you, do you think, that held you accountable to hitting that 90K a month over and over and over again after that?
So it was a couple things. I think one of them was the environment. Obviously, it's like you wake up with a view, like is a $1 billion view in Porsche Design Tower with a car elevator that goes to the 30th floor. It's like, and you have a freaking hot tub jacuzzi that overlooks with a beautiful sunset in Miami. It's like stupid, right? And then, so that, obviously that was that. The accountability side, I would say it was mainly to me. Like my friends weren't gonna be like, we'd be like, hey, Josue, do you work today? They were not gonna do that. They had their own business, which was doing millions of dollars a month. They had their own thing. But just me being surrounded by that and seeing like how accountable they are held me accountable to me. Not because they didn't care. Like whether I succeeded or not, it didn't change materialistically their life, right? They wanted me to succeed, but didn't change them. So I was held accountable myself. And then the third thing, and I think the most important, is like I had no choice. It was either sink or swim. It's like if I didn't make it happen in 2 months, in 60 days, I was out. You know, it's like they weren't give me like, oh yeah, you know, you can stay an extra month and just don't pay rent this month. No, it's like I knew it. And I think that's the issue with obviously socialism and all these other stuff, that people give a lot of handouts to people who do not deserve it, who has not earned it. So for me, it was like sink or swim. I need to make it happen no matter what. I have no choice. This is it. And getting put in that situation in the right environment and me focusing on with the right skill set that I had already developed that I couldn't use because of my environment was what just catapulted me. And it was been 89K, then 100, 120, 200, and so on and so forth. So I think that's what has helped significantly just shape everything. And then since then, the environment that I've always been and that I've tried to always been has always tried to be like very conscious of it. And whenever I'm not, it just goes back. So it's one of those things that if you surround yourself with 5 people who are drunk, you're going to be the 6th. It's true. So I think those couple things were what helped me significantly to just break out of that mold.
But absolutely, man, that's so awesome. First off, that you made that jump yourself, you believed in yourself, you put your back against the wall. I don't think enough people do that, because I remember when I first got started, it was the same thing. I was working part-time jobs, doing Postmates, doing ice cream shop stuff, doing just random stuff to get into the environment where my mentors were, which were about 30, 40 miles away. When I was living in LA, I was driving down to OC all the time. And that was my sacrifice to get the exposure, because evidently the world that you were in, the world that I was in, that most entrepreneurs start out in, wasn't the right environment. It had zero productivity going on, a lot of naysayers, a lot of negativity, and all that kind of stuff, man. So that's a big kudos to you. And obviously now with what you guys are doing in sales, what you guys are doing with AI stuff, which I think is really, really interesting, I know we're going to dive into, wouldn't have been possible without you betting on yourself and having that confidence, man.
Yeah. And I think the relationships that I built along the way, because like that happened to me, but I wasn't like, my immediate thought was like, oh, wait, let me ask Lowe's or let me ask Robert for like a handout and like some help. That I did not do that. I'm like, hey, listen, like I'm in this situation because of my decisions. It is my responsibility. It is my fault. And I got to figure it out, me, not you. Like I'm asking you for a handout, like me. And then what ended up happening is that the reason why the friends that I had, like just even gave me that opportunity to move in with them is because my grandfather passed away in July 2020. And they saw that, you know, so like they reached out, hey, listen, like, how are you? You know, and they're like, you know, this is happening, whatever. I'm like, okay, like, look, we're moving to Miami. We're living here. Just, you know, we have an extra room. If you want it, it's yours. And like me keeping good relationships with people allowed me to get in the right circles. So like throughout, since 2016 to 2020, by that time, I just kept good relationship with people. Like I know for a fact I can call Hermosi, or I can call Lowe's, or I can call you, or I can call whoever. And I know for a fact that I have a friend of you guys, and I know my value and what I can provide for you. And today, if I lose everything, no problem. I'm like, yo, Robert, listen, you know for a fact I'm a good closer. This happened. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm just asking, I'm going to close for you. And if I make you money, I make money. Cool. Done. So it's like me getting good relationships and having a skill set that I can provide as value is, I think, what has allowed me to get where I'm at today. And I know for a fact if I lose everything tomorrow, I'm good.
I absolutely love that too, man. Not enough people are keen on relationships, especially with the digital. They think that they can just hide behind the page and hide behind the brand. Like there's going to be some point where that human aspect, that connection and that real tangible heart to heart moments, like those things actually matter and will either make you or break you. And I mean, you brought up Los a couple of times. I mean, if you guys don't know, he's my partner in my agency. Yep. And I had an agency prior to I shut it down. And he had an agency and it was kind of just sliding a little bit. He wasn't taking it as serious because he wasn't growing it. He wasn't focused on it. He had other ventures at the time. And so instead, just like you said, instead of going for a handout or anything, I came to him and said, hey, we can blow this other thing up. Let me put in my systems. Let me put in this stuff. Let me hire some people and I know we'll do it. And since then we've grown a 7-figure agency from taking that, what ecosystem we already had and blowing it up. And so I think it's so important to keep those relationships. I'm so glad you brought it up because people in the digital entrepreneurship game, man, they get confused.
Yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing is like, if they actually think about this, the money you're trying to make, somebody else has to give it to you. Like if you have a job, you're putting in 8 hours a day and they're giving you a $3,000 paycheck in return. Who is giving you that money? Another person, right? So in business, it's like you want to make money. That money's coming from somebody else's account. At the end of the day, it's all about relationships. It's like you have to sell, have to provide value, have to solve a problem to another human being for that human being to give you money, right? And then you also go pay. You pay for rent, you pay for the maid, you pay for whatever.
Right.
And those people are providing you a service and you're giving them money. That's how the economy works. So it's all about relationships. And when you keep good relationships, you will never be hungry ever in your life, period. So, because you can always provide value to those relationships and nurture them. And it's like a bank. It's like you keep good relationships with the bank, you have money. So it's as simple as that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, man. Network is your net worth. But let's talk about it from a closing perspective too, because I know you deal with a lot of sales reps. You've trained a lot of elite kind of closers for your own offers, even for some other people in our network as well. What do you think most closers get wrong when it comes to that? Because they see the high commission checks or they'll see the incentive not in the right place, but they know they can make more money if they upsell a product or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how do you work with that and how do you train your guys?
So what we do today is on that side, the closers need to be aligned with the mission and vision of the company in terms of helping the prospect. So for example, if I see a closer that all they care about is making the commission check, we'll never like either train them or hire them or even give them the opportunity because that person only cares about the money. And when that happens, then you do not serve. My dad, there's a saying that to this day I have it in my head. I didn't understand it when I was small, but he says, he who does not live to serve does not deserve to live.
I love that.
So if you repeat that again, he who does not serve to live to serve does not deserve to live. So in business, it's like a closer. What you're doing is serving the other person. Make the best decision that is in for them, right? Whether it's a yes or no, you do not care. You want an answer. You want a decision, either yes or no. And what you're focusing on is on the process, right? Process of helping and serving the other person make the best decision for them, not for you. So when you come from that angle and that perspective, then you can be a very closer, right? Because let's just say, for example, if I'm selling your product and I know for a fact it's not going to help and serve you, why am I even selling it to you? I'll be like, Robert, listen, like, I don't think this is going to work for you. Like, I don't think you're a good fit for this program. I like your attitude. I think, I like everything, but I don't think right now is the right time for you. Maybe in the future, but right now I don't think it's the right time. You are going to appreciate that significantly because you're like, shit, like this guy didn't sell me because he believes it's not the right time. And now you have respect and you're probably even wanting more.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that closers that only care about the money side don't see. Now, obviously, I like making money. You like making money. We're all about growing the business. We're not doing this as a nonprofit, obviously. But you need to first come from a perspective of serving, because ultimately the product and service you're selling needs to solve a problem for people. And when it doesn't, it will bite you in the ass every single time on the short term and in the long term.
Yeah.
And you don't sleep well at night either. So
no, I get that.
That's what I would say.
I've seen it because I was working as an agency, right? You work with a lot of people. And for us, when I was growing a couple other high ticket offers, I'll just kind of leave it at that. I saw that the fulfillment wasn't there. The operations wasn't there. It was just a big cash grab. And so we cut a lot of clients in that space around that 2020, 2021 period. because again, there was just a lot of nuance to selling the service, or there was just a lot of ambiguity behind when we ask simple questions like cash conversion cycle, KPI, like they didn't understand those things a lot of times. And so I get it when you're learning in business and stuff like that, that it's not okay to be ignorant, but you're on the path and journey.
Correct.
So let me ask you along that lens with the closers and with how you train sales guys, because we have a sales team of about like 15 people over at some of the orgs that we got. We keep it tight, we keep it knit. We don't want like a big sales floor or anything at the moment. How do you differentiate those people between the ones that are on the journey and you see the potential in them versus already being that A grade closer? Because you train a lot of people and you recruit, right? You bring them into your teams. So when do you know, from your perspective, after dealing with a lot of different reps, to give them that shot and to actually coach them through those learning lessons to get to that perspective versus just say, hey, you know what? It's not the right fit for you, dude.
So I would say ego. So if you have a big ego, it doesn't matter what you've done. It's like, you're not the right fit for what we have. And the reason why I know that is because the people that I also know that are very successful are very humble. They know their worth. They know what they're capable of, but they don't come with the ego of like me. I know everything. You don't teach me shit. And I know how to do everything. It's like, they don't come from that angle. So if a closer, anybody, period, comes from that angle, like I just prefer don't work with them because they're going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah. So that's one side. But a lot of things that I've learned from my business partner today, his name is Anthony Powell, which, by the way, I met in 2019 as I was coming up in the like funniest circumstance. And then everything went down. He didn't hear about me for like a year and a half or 2 years. And then we recircled back again as I was coming up again in 2021. And then now we're business partners. So something that I've learned a lot with him, because he sold $2 billion in the last 25 years. So, and he's trained like 820,000 people. So like, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So what I've learned from him is like the system of sales. A lot of people overcomplicate it, thinking that you need to be such a great communicator and like a super ninja objection handling expert, when that's not the case. The case is like, you need to follow a system and a process, and that's it. Regardless of what the outcome is, you follow the process. So what he has created that I've seen is, it's like McDonald's. McDonald's, no matter what you go in China, United States, Dominican Republic, Europe, they always flip the burgers the same way. They always cook the meat the same way. They always put cheese, 2 things of ketchup, but it's always the same thing, right? So it doesn't matter if somebody comes in and out. The system is always the same. So what we have created now is a process where the script and the system itself is the one that does the selling, and the closer, all they have to work is on tonality, right? Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Right. So all you got to do is work on tonality and do the same thing every single freaking day. And then sales come just naturally, just because the system works. The system is doing the work for you. Example, my dad has never sold anything online. Like, he's closing for me right now. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and he started a week and a half ago. Like, he came from Thanksgiving a week before. I trained him. And then his first sale for $4,000, $959 times 4, what the payment plan was, on Wednesday. Last Friday, he closed his first $3,500 sale. And today he has like, and he wasn't taking like 3-4 calls a day. And today he has like 17 calls or something.
Oh my God.
So like he's getting, the hang of it in a week and a half or 2, but he's following the process, and he's heard me on meetings and just over and over and over again for the last 3 weeks before he started closing. So he now knows the system. So he's just sticking to it. He's ignoring if I make a sale or not. I'm just sticking to the system, making sure I serve the person, and that's it. So that's what he's doing. I mean, I'm surprised too. I'm like, shit, like my dad, he's made in the first week like $8,000 in sales.
That's crazy, man.
Which is funny.
That's an interesting Thanksgiving dinner conversation. Hey,
it is.
So you guys got to learn from him how to recruit your family into, from Thanksgiving into the business. No, that's really inspiring too, because the sales process, as you're talking about, when there's a system and a process that's duplicatable, anyone can follow it. And
correct.
I think that's also a testament to how you've built the sales side, is if your parents can do it. And I know it's becoming like a little too close to home sometimes for some people, but like, if you trust your family's like ability to make money or with their money, like that's a huge responsibility. And so if the skills can translate to family out of all people,
I mean, that doesn't even have an Instagram account. My dad does not even have an Instagram. He doesn't post on Facebook. He doesn't have any followers. He doesn't have anything. All he has is he knows how to use the phone, and he knows how to use the computer. That's it. So like, I'm like, okay, you go here. Here's your. He didn't even know how to use a Google Calendar. Just to give you an example.
I have sales reps that don't know how to use it either, dude. Like, I don't know. Sometimes sales guys, they're not the best with tech. They don't know how to log in and stuff. But
Exactly. So like what we're doing, let's just say on the B2C side, is just training people and training them on sales, because I think is the greatest skill set you can ever have to make a lot of money online. And today, like being a digital closer, in my opinion, is the greatest opportunity of our generation, because all you need is this little device, a phone, an internet connection, and that's it. And you can make the money that a freaking doctor makes, which is crazy to me. Because you even think about, because a couple of years ago it wasn't possible. Now in a couple of weeks you can get training sales and start making money. So that's what we're doing on that side. And then the B2B side is building the sales system for these companies that do need it. So I mean, you know, a bunch of my clients that, I mean, just crush it. Just because the process itself does the selling, and then the closer is just there to just give them a little push, answer a couple questions, and there will be the equivalent of, like I always say, it's like the equivalent of the guy selling you the ticket in the movie theater. And you go to the guys like, okay, what the name of the movie? How long is the movie? Where's the bathroom? And where do you buy Coke and like popcorn? And the guy's like, here. Okay, cool. And he sells you the ticket. He's selling you a ticket. Obviously, the ticket's $10. In this case, the ticket is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then you're making a commission as a closer in return.
What's interesting about that too is that you talked about like kind of launching, which you kind of did it in a nuanced way. So if you didn't catch it, launching the sale forward by showing what they're going to get inside of the movie theater. A lot of people do that in the sales process. You just did it as like a ninja, like a pro. But tell me about that from a sales process perspective and how you train people, because launching them forward to get that immediate deliverable or giving them the instruction where they're at is that hand holding through the process. So I'm sure you train you guys on that, or your guys on that a lot. How do you look to approach that with different offers and different people that you work with?
So it goes back to the sales system itself, right? So the system itself has to do probably most of the selling for the closer. So the closer just comes in and just leverages the system itself to close the deal. So it's the job as a closer. You do not have to build a sales system. You do not have to do anything. You just have to follow the system, like process that's been created for you already. So in our case, for example, something we're doing, and again, I learned it from Anthony. It wasn't me. Like, I'm not taking credit for this. The way he did $2 billion in sales was, let's say you're a closer. A lead comes to you.
Yep.
And you were like, okay, cool. So listen, like Anthony has recorded a presentation for you where it explains XYZ program. Boop. Plays the presentation. So Anthony's the one selling.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then comes back, it's like, okay, so based on what you heard, Robert, today, which credit card do you want to use? So obviously with this is the best person to sell the product and service is, in your case, it's probably you. In my case, it's me. And, you know, so because you're the CEO, the visionary of the company, the one who founded it, the one who's driving it. So the best person to sell it is you, but you cannot clone yourself. So how do you clone yourself with a rep and like have that, you know, together? So that's the way we're doing it right now. And it's working super, super well because people now are hearing it directly from the, how do you say it? It's like horse's mouth, I think.
Yep. Directly from the horse's mouth.
Right. Exactly.
Hearing the information.
Exactly. The information about the product and service. So the system is the one selling, and you as a closer, you're just helping guide the prospect and pushing them along the way.
Very interesting. So one point of failure, it's the CEO's presentation or the main sales guy's presentation. That's the one clocking in the sales, and the closer's there to be of service. I think
like concierge, like an advisor or whatever you want to call it. And it works really well because now every single person is saying the exact same thing at all given times. You do not have a closer that's like, oh, Susie, and then like just going off the script.
Way off script.
Saying something completely different. And now you can control your numbers. Now you can control your closing percentage. You can control, and now you know exactly how much money you're making when you spend money on ads. And there's no variation with this stuff. Like we stick to the system, like, but what happens if no system? So I've personally learned a ton, even though I made millions when I met Anthony and started working with him, but he's made billions. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, there's levels to the game.
Yeah.
It sounds like Anthony and I would get along because I talk to my team all the time. Hey, systems, process, we need the data, keep it streamlined. So that's really, really interesting. So you guys are now using AI though to train on the soft skill sets and role play those, because that's where the axe needs to be sharpened compared to the sales message, which is actually the first time that I've heard that. Obviously I know role playing, but using AI to train soft skills. So what are you guys doing there?
Yeah. So what we're doing is like we're actually programming. It's not launched yet because like it's AI is like one of those things that just takes forever. Like programming. It's like software. It's like I want to kill the software developer sometimes. Like you told me 2 weeks ago that it was going to be done. It's like yeah, but like this and this and this happened in the code and whatever. And there was a semicolon that whatever But what we're doing right now is a lot of times like today you sell through the phone or Zoom, but then also through DMs and text, right? So what we're doing is let's just say you're the AI and I'm the closer being trained. And I'll be like, okay, so I message you and then you reply to me with an objection. And then I have to reply to you based on like handling that objection and me following the system or the script that I have, right? And then you, the AI, grade my response and move me forward to the next question and the next one. So it's like a test or role playing, but instead of a human with AI. And now we can scale that.
So interesting, man. I think that's going to be, well, I mean, what are your thoughts on AI overall? Do you think it's going to replace a lot of the sales management roles and stuff like that you guys probably still
Yes and no. I mean, I think in the future, we'll probably won't even differentiate and we won't know when is a real human or AI. That's what I think. But right now is a long far ahead. But right now, at least on text message and like to practice is great. So you can ask ChatGPT and have a full-on conversation with ChatGPT, right? So on whatever. Now, in our case, what we're doing is we're using several tools and open source codes and APIs to hook everything together, and then using our scripts to train that AI on what needs to be said, what doesn't need to be said, how objection handling matters, etc., depending on the offer. And then a closer comes in and then practices with the AI itself, and they get immediate response, and then they can go to the manager or the coach already having that role-playing initial phase, which is kind of weird sometimes and takes a long time. Now, pretty much like 70-80% ready, and their process from going to just training to actually making money is a lot shorter.
Yeah, the ramp time. The ramp time for the reps, especially as you do it internally. And I know when people place sales reps for other people, the big gap is the ramp. It is the training. It is getting that sales guy ready to handle real life calls that you're spending money on. So what are some tips maybe that you can give to the audience here about ramping a sales rep and how long that should take, or, maybe some tips to enable their sales process? And obviously if you guys need help with sales, you can just hit them up. We'll put some links in the description, but what are some free value nuggets that you can give on the ramping? Because we're talking to a lot of business owners.
What I would say is like, and it happened to me too. Like I'm talking from experience back in like 2021, 2022, because I was training sales rep and then burning them. And it was like one of those things, like it was just back and forth. And now I can train my dad on sales, so it's like on a product that he's never sold ever before. Yeah. So I would say this is like a lot of times the reason why the ramp time is too long, or you can't get closer to close for you, or whatever, is your fault, meaning the system. Like you don't have a duplicatable process that you can just plug away and it still works without you being like the pushing force. Obviously you still want to be there, but you have to be able to just get out and just have it push without you. And then the ads come automatic, the leads come automatic, the sales come automatic, and now you are able to run the business a lot more efficiently. So I would say the system itself, the sales line is broken. At some point, either the script is just not word for word, or like the process itself, or like the offer is not clear enough. Yeah. Something is happening that the closer is not able to ramp up in a week. Like for example, like my dad. Right?
Yeah, your dad closing in 3 days.
Yeah, it's like so. Like he landed in Miami last Friday, so Friday before Thanksgiving.
Okay,
so that's when he landed. By Wednesday, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, he closed his first sale.
Wow.
So I don't know what that is.
That's like 4 or 5 days, something like that.
Exactly. And obviously he took a total, I think, like 10 calls or something until he got his first sale, right? And then he got his second sale by Friday. So obviously he didn't take any calls on Thursday because it was Thanksgiving. And then Friday he took another one, and that was a PIF, or Friday or Saturday. And now today he's taking a lot more. So the ramp up period when you have a system is so easy because the system does the work for you.
Right.
Like the tech, the system, like the lead just comes in warm, and again, all you have to do is be the guy in the counter selling the ticket to the movie. And all you got to do is, okay, how long is the movie? Where's the bathroom? Where do you sell popcorn? Boom. And that's it. It's like a McDonald's system that just replicatable. So
you're saying that because the marketing is so tight, that they're not really having to be closers and handle and fight and go to war on every objection. It's just to serve the client. And so the business owner's job is to enable the sales rep.
Correct.
By getting them the collateral, by giving them an easy on-ramping process with the marketing stuff, so that way that they have the awareness to then have them be able to serve and close.
Exactly. And obviously the way you do that is having a great offer. Like you can't build a system around a shitty offer, and you can't build a system around a shitty delivery.
Sure.
That's the business owner's job. Like that's what you're supposed to do, to then bring closers in, right? And like I do work, as you know, like with the B2B side like companies. They're like, oh my god, I want closer. And I'm like, bro, like you're making 20 grand a month. What are you talking about? Like I was taking calls, and I'm still taking calls. Like until I was like at $150,000 a month. Like I was taking calls every single one myself, because you don't need to bring closers when you don't have a replicatable system that they can plug into. It's your business. They don't know the intricacies of your business. You do.
Yeah.
So, and then once you have that, and then you can put it on a sales presentation with a sales line, the closer is there as a concierge. Like think about it like this. My dad is like, play, Josue sells it. Robert, what card would you like to use?
Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah, exactly. Visa, MasterCard, whatever. Would you like a Visa? Okay, that starts with 4, I think. Yeah.
I think already starting out. Just read me the last 13. I got the first one.
Exactly. Like American Express, it starts with 3. You know, so it's a lot easier to make money like that, and that's the reason why we're like, hey, listen, like if you get trained with us instead of a digital sales academy, we know pretty much for a fact that we'll give you the vehicle that you can make a minimum of $100,000 over the next 12 months. That's a given, but you have to work, right? If you're not willing to work, be disciplined, show up, follow the process to a T, because at the beginning, it's not going to be easy. Like you're going to be like, what the heck is this? It's too tight. Like you're going to feel uncomfortable. But if you stick to it, a couple of weeks are going to go by and you're like, shit, like I made a couple sales. Oh, and then it starts picking up, and then the numbers show up, and then you know your ratios and then what to work on. Yeah. So that's, I think, also an issue that, for example, when you're doing sales that you see, it's like people want that big, they push to, like they want the sale no matter what, and they don't follow the process or a system, and they focus on the yes instead of following the system.
Yeah. So let's talk about that from a sales rep's perspective. Like how can they vet out whether or not a system is tight or not? Because if they're going in, they learn the closing skill set, they go through the education, they go to a business owner that can talk a big game or whatever, right? How do they also protect themselves from going through and investing in themselves? How do they choose the right business owner to follow?
So that was tough, because to give you an example,
I asked tough questions.
Yeah. One of our clients today is Robert Kiyosaki in the Spanish side. His name is Rich Dad Latino. The person leading that is Fernando. When you hear Robert Kiyosaki, you're like, shit, like great. It's like amazing, right? If we started working with August with him. If me as a closer would have come into him in August, from the outside looks amazing. Inside, horrendous. Like no system, no process, no script, no nothing. Even though it has a humongous brand. Today, I built everything, sales process, script, like all of it. And today, great company to be closing for and leverage like that.
Wow.
Right? But in 90 days ago, it wasn't. So it's tough to be able to tell you like what I look for in companies. But the reality is like this. Do they have a process where you see, like obviously we know because like our eyes are trained, but like to the naked eye,
right,
is like you need to be able to see a process where there's follow-up, there's a direct specific path, direct CTA, opt-in, VSL, probably booking a call. Like all these little things need to be aligned in one single file line to be able to function correctly.
Right.
And obviously not saying that each system is perfect. Even ours is not perfect. I mean, you showed me something that I didn't even know. I'm like, oh shit, like I took a picture and I sent it to my tech guy. He's like, what is this? Right? Like each system like breaks here and there, but as long as like you have 80, 90% making sure everything's tight, you should be good as a closer. So,
but that's also where the opportunity lies too.
Correct.
If they do find something that they can fix to then ascend and not just be a closer anymore.
Correct. And so, but that comes like just if you're just the closer and you just want to leverage companies to make sales, then try to look for the company that has everything.
Which is a corporate company, which is like either one of the big ones or just one of your employee number, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc.
Correct. But like if now you like develop your skill set to know, okay, like this is what they need and I know how to build it for them, or I know what extra they need or whatever, then your skill set as a closer is a lot more valuable, and then it's not just a sales rep. You're a lot more.
Right.
You know? And then that's, I think, where the benefit for what we're doing right now lies, because obviously on our side, we have an affiliate program. It's like, if we train somebody on sales, like we have actually one guy in Canada, he had a shop that does like detail cleaning for cars.
Okay.
Right. And he training sales, loved it. Like, okay. And then immediately his brain is like, oh, I know this business owners that probably need this. And then this real estate guy from Dominican Republic in the Spanish needs that is selling like this done for you villas in DR that he builds and runs and whatever. You're like, oh, this guy needs it because it's a high ticket product, is a great offer, but he has no systems. And then he's bringing that lead to us and he's making a ton of money in commissions in return as an affiliate and as a closer. So it's like you don't even need to build the systems yourself. Like you can just leverage us, for example, or a company to be able to do that. So that's what I would say. Like just learning to identify and be trained on what to look for, because once you see it, then you get it.
Yeah.
You know, that now when you see, you're like, oh crap, okay, this company's doing it right, this company's doing it wrong, this is what they're doing, this is what their marketing looks like, etc. And once you see is like the blinds of your eyes are like open. That's what my girlfriend says, like, oh, I used to believe every single marketing tactic, blah, 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 all this stuff. Now I see how everything works. Yep. So it's one of those things that you just have to train your eye to be able to know what is what.
And you get that from being in the right environment. You get that from being around people that are doing it. Just like you said earlier, you put your back against the wall to freaking do it. And I'm sure that opened your eyes in a lot of different ways.
Exactly. It's like I opened my eyes to what's possible. They're like, I mean, think about it like this. Like I am from 5:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day, working, standing in a cashier, going to clean the bathroom of a gas station, which we all know it's dirty, and then going to fill up the fridge of the drinks and whatever. Oh, okay. And I'm doing those 3 jobs. And then I'm also doing the accounting at the end of my shift. Wow. So I'm doing like all these 4 things. And obviously I'm training the other people that are also working there, whatever. Like, and as I was going through that, like how in the world do you think that environment is going to help me or help anybody get to a level, like, for example, making money online? It's not, because these people that are there are working super hard. Each work is honorable. But ultimately, that's not what you want. You just need to be surrounded with the people that you're actually looking up to, or that are doing something similar to you. Right. Not people that are pumping 10 on 5.
For sure. So would you say that marketing or sales is the first skill set that they need to learn to make that jump? Because you have to market to get sales. But you would say sales.
Sales, because you don't have to learn marketing at the beginning. Because you can just leverage a company that's doing it already. Like, for example, like in our case, right? And my dad doesn't know he doesn't know any marketing. He doesn't even know how to post on Instagram probably, like at all. And he's making sales, you know? So the reality is like, you do not need to learn marketing. You can just leverage a company that's spending their money on marketing and bringing you hot leads that are already interested in buying the product and service of the company, and you leverage that. Yeah. And that's the craziest thing about today's world. It's like you can make $200, $300, $500, $1,000 an hour just for you replying messages on your phone, typing, or taking Skype calls or Zoom calls for 30 to 60 minutes at a time, as long as you follow a proven system that produces cash and you be a digital closer. So I think it's the greatest opportunity that we have today, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's why I have this podcast overall, is because I want to help people, show them how they can tap into this digital ecosystem, the modern way of doing things, create digital cash flow so that they can go build the wealth that they actually want. Right. I think, your story is awesome, man, going from, the $1 million to the 0 back to the multiple millions and stuff like that. It's awesome. And it also shows that you still have the grip, you're humble, you're not having the ego kind of flash around and stuff like that. And there's a death that goes with all this stuff at some point. You better learn. Yeah. But I think it's just wonderful, man, that you're helping entrepreneurs become more of a digitally apt entrepreneur, following systems, following processes, and being able to tap into this ecosystem. And so with that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and link the link in the description below of where you can find Jose. But where can they find them for people that are listening on the audio?
So just at Pena, at Pena on Instagram. A lot of people, obviously my name is Josue, but in English you can't really say that. It's like Josue or something. So
I say Josue.
Yeah. You say it right. But like most people, when they read my name, they're like Josue. But like it's just at Pena on Instagram. On YouTube, I post a lot, just giving out free stuff so people can actually go take that. I mean, you'll be surprised at people that have actually implemented the free stuff and like have amazing results. But if you want to find out a little bit more about like Digital Sales Academy, or like if you're a business owner, how we can create systems to scale the company and get to like $50,000 to $100,000 a month very quickly, just go to digitalcloser.net or digitalentrepreneur.ai.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. Josue Pena, a good friend of mine and an awesome entrepreneur. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you're finding value, and if you're going to go start implementing some of the sales tactics and sales strategies that we talked about here today. So with that said, guys, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.